Morning all, how are we doing? Sorry, it's really echoey again in here today. I finished painting yesterday in my office, so that's done. But there's nothing in here apart from my desk and my monitors, so sound is bouncing off of every single surface. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I just sound like I'm in a cave. How's everybody doing? FOMC was a dud last night. We didn't even get a whipsaw off of it. I was watching it. We had a 5-minute candle that looked like a doji, and that was about it. So very disappointing yesterday. But yeah, so it was all doom and gloom basically yesterday. I was watching the the comments rolling past on Financial Juice. Basically 0.75 basis point hikes instead of 0.5s. Pretty much the entire board voted for that. Little evidence that supply constraints will be easing to help control inflation. More restrictions coming, downside risk to growth. It is all basically not good for the future, which is fine, but we kind of know that, and more talk of recession basically. So yeah, pretty bad all round. Morning Jesse, morning Diamond. So yeah, apart from that, there's been no real overnight news to speak about. So today we've got the EU forecasts at some point, which will be pretty similar probably. 12:30 we've got the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts, which it's not like the meeting minutes. The accounts are kind of already known. Let me just turn tick strike down a little bit. There's an awful lot of buying coming in pre-market. Oh no, the market's just open, that's why. Sorry, it's 8 o'clock. I'm a little bit late this morning because of spinning. So yeah, it's it doesn't tend to do much, but it's worth keeping an eye on 12:30, especially if you're trading the DAX. You might see some volatility in the DAX. This afternoon we got unemployment and PMI for the CAD, and we've got Bullard speaking a bit later on. So there's no real news, no impactful news today. We might get a little bit of a wiggle on the CAD, but that's about it. Tomorrow basically is non-farm payroll, so that's the big E130. I might do a stream at 1:30 tomorrow. I'll see how I go with decorating and office stuff. I've got lots of paneling to put up and all sorts of things, so I'll see how I go on. But that's about it. So nothing really news-wise today. Yesterday, market's pushing at the open. We have got a gap fill to do on the DAX as well. So this may just be a run on the highs and then a drop. So watch this morning. Gap fill didn't quite get there this morning. Yesterday I banked 0.26%, 3.25 on the week. All I did yesterday was before FOMC, as you can see here, sort of that's just before 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. I just banked everything that I had in profit, just to basically get it in the bank just in case FOMC went against me, and it didn't obviously do anything. So business as usual on current positions I've got. I've got positions in profit on the yen pairs, so just waiting because they're just literally sideways at the moment. As you can see, it's just not going anywhere. So I'm waiting on those. Aussie New Zealand, I've put another pending order. Sorry, Aussie New Zealand. I've put another pending order on. Which has just been triggered. Yeah, sorry, it's just been triggered. So this one here, I've just put this one on this morning. I had a pending there, basically. This is only a 64 ADR pair, and obviously I took that position off ahead of FOMC yesterday, so I wanted to get that position back on again, because this initial position up here is basically, this is around about half an ADR. distance. That one was just over half an ADR. That's just under half an ADR. I've got this little initial position I took, which was way too small for this instrument. So I just wanted to get that back on again in case we do push today, because I'd kind of like to be flat for the weekend. If we can get an ADR push on the Aussie today, then I will be getting out of some Aussie, because it isn't going anywhere basically. I've got double exposure on it, which is no problem, but I just don't want to sit in it. If it's not going to go anywhere, I'd rather get my exposure freed up to trade other things. Morning Trevor, Alan, David. Currently in Aussie US sells. Yeah, Aussie US sell, nothing wrong with that. We're waiting for US dollar basically, aren't we, with everything. It's just not moving, you know, it tells the tale, doesn't it? Yeah, this is Friday last week. We ain't gone anywhere. We're just not going anywhere. This week has just been flat. It's FOMC week, non-farm payroll week, nothing's moved. We are coming into summer trading months as well, where the liquidity dries up and you get lots of intraday moves but no direction. It's just getting crap now. And obviously with what's going on with the market at the minute, it's all doom and gloom. But I would hope non-farm payroll, you'll get some action on it. So I was in that pound US dollar. I'm going to look through all the pairs this morning. I want to try and get into some US dollar. If there's anything set up. Pound US dollar was what I was looking at as a short. But I got out of that yesterday. God, my platform's slow this morning. I got out of that yesterday there, just with the break even ahead of non-farm. Ahead of FOMC. We're pretty much in the same place, so I might just put that back on again. So yeah, really, really crap Asian session. No ADRs. So it's all a bit rubbish today. Anyway, so that's where I am. So I've done target for the week. Just waiting for this lot to move, really. So, so no news today. DAX has just taken out those highs. So if we go bearish on this candle, I would be looking for that gap fill today. I've got positions ready to short on the ES in the futures account, but I'd be looking, obviously you can take the opening range breakout to the downside and look for this gap fill today. It's a fairly decent, let's say you're getting on the opening range, you've got 73 pips to the downside. Not unachievable at all on a 300 ADR pair. So that's a nice little gap fill, but watch this. Very slow open. The crickets are silent. We've got no volume this morning. We've just pushed. We've been putting 2.2k on volume since the open. Wow, and 169. So the market's totally flat and dead. There's no volume coming in at all. So yeah, God, I hope it's not going to be another one of those days today. Anyway, we'll have a look through all the pairs and see if there's anything we can get into, but I'm not hopeful because the market hasn't gone anywhere yesterday. So when we did the analysis on Tuesday, I think we're pretty much in the same spot as we were. The RSIs will all be flat, I'd imagine. I haven't looked at them this morning. Yeah, we've got some four hours. So we whiz through everything. I'm not going to bother looking at the RSI dashboards. Hourlies is flat. 4 hourlies is looks like it's all euro based. So we'll just look through all the pairs and see if we can find something exciting. We'll have a look at the indices first. So yesterday we had a little bit of a pullback. I did a fair bit yesterday. I think I bid $1,800 or something yesterday in that quiet. Remember I said yesterday the thing to do at the open in New York today was to play the ranges. I did exactly that on the S&P yesterday. In here, I basically banked everything. I was looking at the volume profile yesterday on the ES. Was basically pretty much all happening in this area. as you can see. Most of it was there. We had a little dip to the downside, and then I wasn't trading this after it popped out. But in the open, I did about $1,800. I lost about $800 there, and I made some more back there. Just literally up and down in the range. That's why I said, you know, play the range, because they're not going to move the market until FOMC, and all they were doing was holding it in a pattern. So I basically sold the top of the volume profile and bought the bottom of the volume profile all day yesterday. It took ages, but it was such an easy day to make money. So yeah, as you can see yesterday, obviously all we did was go, there's the open, all the way until FOMC. We had not moved. The whole volume profile for the day was flat, and then we popped up, came back down, and had an ever so slight up day. So we're still bearish on everything. We're hugging the 24, but you know, nothing's moving at the minute. It's all flat. Same with all the indices. We're getting rangy days. And as you can see, the market is just not interested at all today. There's nothing happening. Getting the odd flurry of buyers, but they can't break out any highs, can't do anything at the minute. So we'll see what happens. But I'll be looking for bearish movement this morning, just to come and get this gap done on DAX. That will drag all the indices with it, because the DAX tends to be in charge from a volume perspective, because it's the Frankfurt session. But it's not doing anything at the minute. So sell the highs at the minute. Look at the wicks. Take the opening range break for safety, or just get in now. Stop above the high. 20. I'd go probably about 30 pips stop. 950 reward. Seems a pretty sound idea today. I've got 2 shorts ready on my futures platform on the ES, as I say, to if we break down below these lows, I'm going to get in short. Right, so that's the indices covered. As I say, there's not really a lot to cover on them, because they haven't gone anywhere. Oil. So looking at oil this week, we obviously had that big tank day on Tuesday, which was the when the US dollar came to life. Then we've gone sideways and we've made another low. So I'm quite surprised oil has pushed down this week. I was looking for an oil recovery to start, but it hasn't happened for some reason. So obviously the strength that I was looking for on the CAD hasn't appeared, which is why my CAD yen is still sitting sideways. But hopefully this is going to be the new low. We're down below $100 a barrel now. So we're kind of entering territory pre-invasion territory now again, which is odd, because we would be expecting oil to be increasing, because supply is disrupted, therefore, and demand has stayed the same, therefore you expect it to become a more expensive commodity. It's not at the minute, but I think we will see this go with obviously the CAD. So I'm looking for a retest of these highs. This low here through this accumulation is kind of where I would think that is absolutely bargain price, $93 a barrel, somewhere down there, if it can get there, but I'm not sure it can. So looking at it from an ADR perspective, can't talk this morning, it's 60 ADR, down to that level is 67. So if you're interested in swinging oil, this is a really good price, I think, at the moment, just below $100 a barrel. I think $100 a barrel as a psychological level will probably hold. Failing that, you've got a 1 ADR second entry down there. I can't see it dropping any more than that. This is all forecast to go up 125 to 150 in the next 6 months. I can't see it dropping much. So that looks like a lovely swing opportunity if you want to trade oil. And obviously that should take the CAD with it as well. So have a look at that one if you're interested. Bitcoin and all the cryptos have gone nowhere. Selling off in the market now. Lovely wicks. Look at those wicks. We're not interested in that level. Yeah, break of that low. Or if you just got in when I said to get in. Nice. So that's moving nicely, DAX. Okay, that's indices. If anybody's got anything specific they want to have a look at in any more detail, let me know. But I'm just going to literally this morning whiz through all the pairs and just see if there's anything that I'm interested in from an opportunity-wise perspective to try and get into something more today, because what I've got is stagnating. So I need to get some more exposure on. Mainly pound and dollar are the things I'm looking to try and find some exposure on. So pound US dollar is an obvious choice, but it's flat. So just going to whiz through everything. But if there's anything you want to look at specifically, just let me know in the chat. So Aussie dollar CAD is a short. I'll just bring my pen over. We've pushed back above this resistance basically, and we've kind of held it in a bit of an accumulation. So this sort of accumulation there is holding back again. It's down. There's a lot of selling coming in, but we're not making any ground at the minute. It's a sell. I'd rather... Let me just turn those down a minute. They're a bit loud, aren't they, this morning? Okay, some serious selling coming in now. So I'm just about to enter 3 ticks away from entering a short position on the ES. That's breaking down. So that's going to hold, I think. There we go. So you got your opening range break to the downside. So should get a decent move down now. Another 70 pips. Yeah, Aussie dollar CAD is a short. I'm looking basically shorts. Ideally somewhere up here. I want to see this a little bit more extended, but we are stalling out here. We've had a lack of Canadian dollar strength, obviously, on the oil price drop. So when that starts to rise, we should see more strength coming through on the CAD. Aussie's kind of neutrally strong, I would call the Aussie at the minute. But it's just not getting any sustained strength. So you're reliant on the CAD driving this one. I'd much rather see it extended like this to get into it, but if it's not going to move, I think the CAD will be the first to power up, which makes this a nice little short. So short on that one. Aussie Swiss, again, the Swiss franc has just gone sideways. US dollar ZAR, I don't trade exotics, so I can't really offer you any advice on that. Boocamp also, sorry. I've got it there just to demonstrate a point that if you want to make 500 pips a day, that's what you can use, because it does 2,500 pips range. Short one on ES. Just to let you know on futures, if you're interested. So yeah, Aussie dollar Swiss. Don't know. It's just sideways. I don't trust the Swissy. I think the Swissy is going to power up at some point soon. I reckon probably on non-farm tomorrow they might pump a bit more into the Swiss franc. So I don't want to fade this. This is a beautiful fade up into this propulsion gap on the rate announcement, but nothing's got any strength at the moment, and the Swissy is just sitting there, thank you very much, waiting for the 24 to come down on top. When we get anywhere near that, I think we're going to drop. So what I would really like to see today is some kind of weakness on the Swiss franc or strength on other currencies to give the Swissy a bit of a boost back up into the 24 zone, which I want to sell. But I just don't think it's happening. You know, you're in ranges. Everything is in a range. Morning Wan, going long pound yen. Good one. That's a good one. So yeah, nothing I can see there of any interest. Aussie yen long. I'm already long on this one. Anything yen, you want to be longing it because of the weakness in the yen at the moment. But the problem, as I say, is nothing is strong. We've got no strength on any currency, so everything is just moving sideways at the moment. I'm long on this, waiting for it to pop. If you want to get into any yen, Aussie yen is a really good one. We're down at the 72. 72 is holding nicely. This bottom from last week has held all week. So just waiting for something to happen. Nothing's happening. Aussie New Zealand, same story. You can see I've been in and out of this loads, been banking on this for the last couple of weeks. waiting for the next push high. And all we're doing is going sideways. So everything's stagnating. This is a lovely long. It's just stagnating at the moment. Nothing's moving. Doji after doji after doji. Look at the tails. It's just not got any direction, but it's a long. Aussie US is a short. Again, hard to get in on this one. You're not getting any reverse alerts on anything because nothing's going anywhere. US dollar expected to power up. I'm just surprised we didn't get anything off of FOMC last night. We got more bearish sentiment, so it's not particularly good for it. But David, sorry to ask, but is the DE40 the UK 100 or Germany 30 or something else? DE40 is the DAX, which is the Germany 30. It's the Germany 30, basically. It's the DAX. There's just some brokers, most brokers in fact, haven't bothered to change it. It's basically the Germany 30 changed to the Germany 40 at the beginning of this year. So some brokers have changed. Most brokers haven't, and they still call it the Germany 30 or the DE 30. So it's the same thing. It's the DAX. The UK 100 is the FTSE. That's different. That's the UK stock exchange. So it's DAX. When I say DAX, it's the DE40, Germany 30, whatever your broker wants to call it, but it's the German stock exchange. And they've just used the top 40 or 30. 40, yeah. Sorry, go mad. So yeah, Aussie short US dollar, but no movement. Got some buying coming in now. I think they're going to be range bound today again. CAD Swiss, obviously, what do you do with this stuff? There's just nothing you can do with it. Yes, there's a lovely propulsion gap to aim for, but it is just not going anywhere. It's impossible to read. We're flatlined on the RSI. You just can't take it. If you take it from here in a range, if you take any trade in a range from the middle of a range, you're literally gambling with a 50-50 shot. You've got no idea where it's going. It could go either way. So if we get up to the highs, short it. If we get down to the lows, buy it. I'd rather be shorting the DAX, everything against the Swiss franc. But equally, there is a logical pullback, fade move back up into the propulsion gap. But we're not doing anything, are we? It's just not going anywhere. CAD yen long. As you see, I've been buying this thing up on every dip. Still long. Again, not going anywhere. Sideways, waiting for stuff to move. Morning, Canali. Swiss yen long. This is a really good one. So this bounce off the 24, this bullish engulfing off the 24 yesterday, that was lovely. It filled that propulsion as well. It's not really a propulsion gap because there was no accumulation before it, like that one. But yes, lovely bounce. Looking for longs. Again, Swiss francs not done anything. Yen's had a little bit of strength, which has pushed it back down to there, but that's all waned now. So that looks a lovely long. I can't take that because I'm in Aussie and CAD. So I'm overexposed on the yen. I'm up to full exposure on the yen, so I can't get in it. But that's a lovely looking long opportunity. If you want to get into a long on the yen, Swiss yen or pound yen, or US yen, or CAD yen, any yen basically. But that one looks particularly good, the Swiss yen. God, this market's slow this morning. Look at it. Buying is just, and the selling is just moving it so little. We've just put in, look at the volume. 3,000 contracts on the biggest push of the morning at the open. 3,000 contracts. It's flat as a pancake today. Going to be a choppy day. Yeah, so the euro odd. Euros basically are shorts at the moment. Obviously, this one's come down pretty hard. But saying that, we have got the rate announcement for the euro next week. No, it's the week after. Was it next week? Sorry. It's the week after, isn't it? Yeah, 21st. So I would expect euro potentially to get a little bit of a boost week after next, but we will see. So at the moment, it's extended. So these euros are nicely extended. Against something like the Australian dollar, which is quite weak at the moment, this is a fairly nice looking long, but the euro is just dangerous at the moment to trade because of what's happening with Ukraine, what's happening with NATO, and Europe obviously being next door to the conflict is going to be the first to dragged into it if it happens. So they're all risky. Everything's always risky when you've got a conflict going on. But I would expect strength to start coming through in a couple of weeks on this. So it's whether or not you want to risk getting into this now or waiting for some signs of strength. We've got a very nice support resistance zone here, which is next target. So there is potential, obviously, because this is so extended now, and we've had this big push down with no profit take move. There's a little bit of a push there, but we are potentially now putting in that reversal. So you could monitor this one for breaks on M15. We had one yesterday for long entries. So if you want to, pending order, in fact I would go probably pending order above the Asian high. If we get up to there today, that confirms that multi-day W pattern there on the 4 hour. And then I think we might get some kind of decent pullback on that. Looks fairly decent for a long at the moment. And your backup obviously is if when you get in there, it then pulls back down again. God, Russia and China jumping into bed together. There's your backup plan down there. For next long, so obviously it will be embedded again, which is by the time we get into that probably 3/4 of an ADR away. So that's a nice looking opportunity for a long on euro odd. I'm exposed on the odd. I can't take it. Just got the wrong exposure. That's why I want to get out of some of this Australian dollar because it's just going sideways. Euro CAD is a short. Don't want to get interested in that. I'm interested in shorting Euro CAD. I don't want to short it at the lows. I want it to pull back. So any kind of pullback into the support rectangle, I'll be interested. Any pullback up to 24, I'll be interested. Support rectangle is also that resistance as well. So any kind of move up, I'll be looking to short that. Euro Swiss, not interested in long in the Euro Swiss. I think the Swiss is going to power up again, and obviously the Euro is weak, and Euro Swiss at the moment is definitely a short. So again, waiting for pullbacks to short it. Euro Pound, this is a slug, 58 ADR. It's not going anywhere. Euros come down, potentially tapping into the 72, which is potentially a good buy point, but it's a weak currency against a weak currency. So again, this is not a bad looking opportunity for a long. It's just so slow. I hate trading it. What I'm saying about these being stuck in these with them just going sideways and not moving anywhere, this is exactly the same. You look at this, the way that it's hugging the 24, it just shows you it can't pull away. It just, you get the odd spike and then it's just like wait for the 24, hit the 24, it just doesn't go anywhere. It takes absolutely ages. So you get into this and then maybe next week you'll get an ADR out of it. It's just not worth it. You're tying up exposure. If you trade something like this, you're trading a slug. You're tying up exposure on euro and pound. So when the best setup in the world comes up on the pound yen, you may be not able to take it. So I just don't want to tie liquidity up in it. Euro yen is a decent looking bounce opportunity down at these lows. So this is a pretty good support resistance zone. So this area here, where we bounced, and we've got this high here. Yeah, so this whole area here is excellent, and an RSI extension and a 72 bounce potential as well. It's extended, haven't had a profit take move, but the euro is really, really struggling at the moment. So it's a good looking opportunity for a long. You've got a back up down here as the next level of potential support, which isn't too far away at all. So good looking opportunity for a long, and you're looking somewhere in the region of what's that, 200, sorry, 180, about an ADR down to there. So good looking opportunity, but again, it's weak this morning. We had the reversal alert yesterday, so again, same sort of thing. If we get the push today, you're going to get that W, multi-day W. So it looks good. The euro looks good as long as it powers up today. I can't take that because I've got too much yen on. I can't get into anything. It's just nothing looks good. I'd rather be flat and sit on my 3.5% than just get into something for the sake of getting into it, because that just causes problems. These are all extended though, so they are due a pop at some point. Euro New Zealand dollar is weak. As you can see, this has just been sideways, choppy. We've just broken out of these lows. We're in price discovery phase at the moment on this one. We've got this support resistance zone here. We're at the 72. Potential for a bounce. If not, that is good for a bounce. But again, look at it. How many weeks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks sideways. And the ADR on this is actually pretty good. It's just New Zealand dollar has been really slow and weak. Euro has been weak, and it's just got obviously a little bit weaker this week. So it's just not, it just doesn't light up my life at the moment, this one, for a long. It's probably not a bad opportunity, but I just get the feeling you're going to get that sort of movement happening, and it's just going to get sideways, like my Aussie New Zealand, that sort of thing. It's just going to go sideways for a bit. So it's an opportunity for long. So there is a good looking long opportunity there. When I look at trades I want to get into, positions I want to get into, I want to think, yeah, that looks like that's going to move soon. And at the moment, it just doesn't look like it's going to move. Because we've got the rate announcement coming up in a couple of weeks, I just get the feeling euro is going to flop about for a while. Euro US dollars are short. I got into all my shorts there, got out there, got in again there, got out there. Didn't get an opportunity to get in again before the collapse. I tried to buy it down there, made a little profit. US dollar not doing anything, euro weak. So yeah, it's a lovely looking potential long. Just got stopped out of that. ES short, market's gone bullish. It's going to be a horrible flip-floppy session, I reckon. This is probably where you want to sell it. Wow. Big rally. 4,000 contracts, that is. Wow. It's awful today. We just come out to session highs on the S&P and the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's just broken session highs by the looks of things. So is the Dow. Euro US dollar, as I say, it's a long opportunity to fade it, but I'm worried about entering something like this long ahead of non-farm payroll. The strength that we had on the US dollar this week, that whack and great push, I think potentially was the precursor to a move starting on the US dollar. FOMC wasn't the catalyst to make that happen. Non-farm payroll might be. If that's the case, this is going to go down, and we don't want to be trying to fade it. And this is the one as well. I remember I said we're down to 20-year lows. We had to go back to 2002. So this is the lowest point we've been since 2002. It's just, there's nothing below to stop us going any deeper. So just don't want to get in it. And look at it. I mean, this week it's just collapsing. You don't want to be long in that at all. Want to be shorting it, but there's no opportunity to short it because it's not pulling back. It's tough to get into anything at the minute. Pound odd, sideways mess. You're bang in the middle of the range again. Range highs are up here, range lows are down here. You're there. Pick a direction. No idea. Can't trade it. Just don't know where it's going. I've been more bearish than bullish. As you can see, I've taken shorts up there. Missed these, unfortunately. Didn't get extended. So any kind of pullbacks, I'd be looking to short this. Yesterday probably was the best pullback opportunity, but yeah, it's just not in the right spot. Pound CAD is a short. We got a lovely bounce off of support. So it's basically put in a triple bottom, but as you can see, we're not going anywhere. So it's forming a little wedge pattern at the minute. Canadian dollar, I mean, this is obviously a short. I want to short it up here. I don't want to short it down here. I think what will probably happen with this is we will just get a break of this low and go. So you could take short positions now, and you've probably had a reversal alert on this yesterday, because obviously we just sideways chop. You're just going to get reversal alert after reversal alert because we're in a consolidation in range. I think the best play on this is to look for short opportunities. So maybe take a break of the Asian low. If we break that low there, I would be interested in adding a position. I've got a CAD on already, so I could take that one. The only thing that concerns me about this is if the Canadian dollar continues to weaken, if oil does continue to drop, there's nothing on the cards for the pound to strengthen the pound at all. But a weak Canadian dollar could see the pound rising. So second position would be probably at the 24, and ideally there. Remember, I shorted this from there. That's where I'd be looking. So somewhere around there, which is roughly 2 ADR away. Yeah. So an entry on a break here. If it comes and retests this low and breaks this low, we are going, I think. So it's whether or not we get a pullback or not. And I hate taking things out of a range like this, but it looks like a pretty decent opportunity for a short to me. I'm tempted to take that. Let me just have a look at what. What number are we on? Hang on. 5 and 6. So 21. Okay, so I'm going to take a break. I can't get a reversal alert on this because it's consolidating. So I'm going to take a break of the Asian lows, and I'm going to take a break of yesterday's low. Obviously, probably stop hunt it first, but I would add in there. So if we break there, add there, and look for that to drop. So obviously when you get into this, or when I get into this, my average will be here. So what I would be looking for is it not to get too far above my average before we get that move back down again. So I'm going to take a short on that. We've just taken out the Asian highs, but we're in accumulation at the minute. So I quite like the look of that pound CAD. It's the best of the bad bunch at the moment. And obviously if it gets me in and then goes for the pullback, I'm going to have to enter two positions, ADR, which will be the 24, and then second at resistance, and then look for that to come down. But we're waiting on this guy at the minute. So and I've only got the one exposure on the CAD at the moment, which is the CAD yen long, so it's not looks like we've got a bit of yen weakness coming through at the minute. Yeah, yen's weak. Got a nice movement up on the yen. So that's pound CAD. Going to get short on that one. Pound Swiss, again, I do not want to long this. I want to short it and I want it to pull back. It's very difficult to find somewhere in there. You know, there's so many potential resistances. That one would be my ideal, that low. But failing that, you know, the danger is we're coming back up into the propulsion gap, which is a hell of a long way. So I would like to start shorting it at the 24 just in case we do go for that fade. Shorting it here, you've got potentially a massive risk on your drawdown of sort of 400 pips, 4 ADR. It's too risky taking a short down there. Pound yen, good looking long opportunity. So we had the push back down out of the triangle that was forming. So, you know, it's not really going anywhere. The pound is weak. The yen is weaker. But this isn't the best opportunity on the yen because you're taking something which has got a bearish bias against a bearish bias. You ideally want something with a bullish bias like the US dollar or the CAD against the yen, because at least then you've got something that is expected to power up against something that is expected to go down rather than something that's expected to go down against something that's expected to go down. But saying that, any kind of weakness on the yen will give this movement, and all pound pairs have got very high ADRs, so you get in and out of this pretty quick. So yeah, pound yen looks like a good looking long. You've missed the opportunity though. It was yesterday. You see I got into it here, look. That was the ADR scalp, so that was 150 and 175 ADR, and I just scalped out of that one. But yeah, looking good for longs on H4. Yesterday was the entry. Pound New Zealand, no, not interested. This was the entry, look. Yeah, yesterday. So it hit my support zone and bounced. But it's just, you know, you can't trade that. You can trade it from the bottoms and the tops, but you've got to get in pinpoint. You've got to be in there, stop under there, get out. So yeah, it's not tradable. Pound US dollars are short. Not going to short it all the way down there. Want it to pull back. New Zealand CAD, same thing. Looking for shorts on this one. Took loads of shorts here. We're just tapping into resistance at the minute on this. So somewhere around there is a fairly decent level, which we haven't got to. This is holding very nicely this high at the minute. Look. So that's a nice looking short opportunity. I've got too much CAD on now because I've just taken that pound CAD potentially. But that looks pretty good for a short. It's only 67 ADR, so don't expect to get, you know, lit on it until next week. And just target the lows. So just taking another short on the ES. We're unable to make new highs. So I'm looking to get short on the ES. I'm going to add into it down there. Propulsion gaps held there. Look. Still think we've got that gap fill. Market structure on this is very mixed, as you can see. It's just sideways. We've put in a new high, so potentially you're looking at that, but also potentially an expanding wedge to get down to this gap fill. So it's difficult today, very difficult. New Zealand CAD, yeah, it looks good for shorts, but as I say, you're only gonna get really as a reward 80 pips out of it, so just over an ADR. That's all I'd be looking for on it. M15, you've just had a reversal alert this morning, and it's coming down nicely, so looks good for a little short opportunity. We need CAD strength. New Zealand Swiss, not interested. Again, Swiss franc, I'm just not interested in longing it. I just don't feel that we are going to make it back up there. I'm looking to get in short when we get a pullback. So with nice little flag going in at the moment, you could take a flag break, but it's a hell of a flagpole. I'd rather see it flag back up to the 24 and jump in short up there, safer. New Zealand dollar yen is a nice little long. So this is held very nicely down at support, and pushing up nicely now. So we're hugging the 72. It is pushing down, so the market structure on this is obviously a little bit more bearish at the moment, but it is just contracting at the minute, and I think probably yen is going to remain weak for the foreseeable. Big question mark over New Zealand at the moment. It's kind of neutrally strong potentially, but it needs the Aussie to drag it along at the minute, and the Aussie's just not doing that at the moment. So again, very difficult one to trade, but I'd be more long than short on it. We're just not getting any, it's just no movement. It's the same across the board, isn't it? It feels like we're in the middle of summer months already. We're only in the early part of July. Summer trading tends to kick in sort of mid to late July. It seems to have just happened a bit early this year. This week is just quiet. New Zealand dollar, US dollar short, accumulating, waiting for the drop. Same as the Aussie dollar, US dollar. Don't take both, take one or the other. Pretty much trading the same thing. US dollar CAD longs. This one I was really undecided. I wish I had have gone with my gut, but I didn't. So we came straight up into the highs. It's more a long than a short, just about. I was waiting for a little bit more of a pullback to potentially get into some longs, waiting for FOMC and that to happen. It didn't happen. They moved the market a day early. They moved it ahead of FOMC this week, and it just threw everybody. It looked to me like a trap, that they were going to basically pull back, and we haven't done anything. So if anything on this one, I'd be looking for a fade and then looking to get in long. But the problem with this is you've got something that's expected to power up against something that's expected to power up, which tends to form another accumulation. So selling the highs, buying the lows at the moment. So this is a good spot to be selling it. Waiting for the Canadian dollar to power up and potentially put it down. So you've had the reversal alert this morning. It's a horrible, ugly reversal alert out of accumulation. You've just had another reversal alert go in because we are just sitting sideways. But this, we didn't get a particularly decent propulsion gap out of this because it was a bit of an ugly sort of like backfire start. But these propulsion gaps down here are good targets. I think these will get filled, especially that one. I think that will definitely get filled because that's what took us out above that high. So that was the big strong move to break the highs. You look at it on the hourly, it make a little bit more sense. Yeah. So that high there, that was the big move to say, yeah, we are definitely, we didn't just stall, we slammed through that level. That's where I would expect pretty much 100% to come back to. So when you look at that on M15, it's this propulsion gap. Yeah, so that is, you see these shorts that I had on that I took off as the scalp. So this was a scalp play. These were where I was, if we were just going to get that continuation drop, that is where I was going to get out. And that is where I think we're still going to come to. But when we get to there, there's a question mark over whether or not that will become the bounce point or whether they'll try and come back down to these levels here. But I'm looking for a bounce long on it. So, God, this market is awful. So slow. It's bullish. I'm just going to exit my short for a scratch. we've just pushed up on 5,000 contracts, so this is definitely a bullish move. Yeah, so we pulled down on 2.7 thousand, pushed up on 1.9, down on 2.7, and now we've pushed up on 5.2. So there's way more volume long in the indices this morning. We've pulled back on 5,000 contracts, which is the same amount, but look how far we managed to get. So exactly the same volume traded, but we only managed to pull back a third of the move. So there's way more bulls in the market than bears on this pullback. So Delta only managed to get down to there. I think we're going to break to the upside. But it's going to be a slug. It really is. It's, the indices are just, I'd probably give them a miss today, to be honest. I've done $400 loss this morning. I might just call it a day until New York. I think it's going to be a horrible Globex session. You're just going to get chopped around. So, yeah. So yeah, US dollar CAD looking for a pullback long. US dollar Swiss. This is probably the one I think has got the most chance of getting the initial propulsion move on the Swiss franc rate change hit. It's held up way better than all other currencies. It got down to a level of support, and that support held, and with the US dollar push, even against the Swiss franc strength, it's managed to do some decent moves towards it. We have just got back up into this accumulation area. We get stuck here a lot, and that's exactly where we've just rejected. So I think we're going to get a bit of a battle here, but this has got the opportunity, I think, to push. We need the Swiss franc to remain sideways for the US dollar to get through, though. So if the Swissy powers up, that's going down. Non-farm payroll tomorrow, I think, is going to be where they're going to start the moves. So we just got to wait, basically, for NFP tomorrow afternoon. I think we're going to get a sideways day again by the looks of things today, because the markets are flat as a pancake. Nothing's happening. So it's going to be a dull day. US dollar yen long waiting. 3-week consolidation. I've been longing the hell out of this thing. That's a fib. Been longing this. Yeah, I'm just longing it, making money out of it. Just keep longing it. Eventually it's going to go. But at the moment, 3-week consolidation. Missed it yesterday. That was your entry. It's so tight. You've got to be in M5 really. Got an entry yesterday there, but it's just not. I mean, look, you couldn't even get in this. Look, that was the entry signal up here. So yeah, really crap. The whole market is just really crap at the moment. There's the summary. So I'm just hovering with this lot. Hey, Aussie yen. Right, we've got some decent yen weakness coming through at the moment. So just going to hold this and hope we get an ADR hit today. Nice to see some weakness on the yen showing through. So I'll try and transfer some of this. In fact, I've got 0.5% I can bank right now. Do I want to? I can take it off and put it back on if it drops, can't I? It's a nice target, that. Yeah, I think I'm going to bank it. What's the other one I've got on? CAD. Yeah. Okay, I'm just taking one off. I'll take one off the CAD as well. So I've got this position, which is basically pretty much break even, and with the Aussie yen, it will either, what will happen with this one, either this will pull up to pretty much break even and I'll take it off for nothing, or if Aussie yen pulls back down again, I'll enter that position I've just taken off again, and then I'll probably exit the whole thing when it gets to a break even point. So I've done my 0.5% for the day. 3.76 on the week now. So CAD yen, looking on M15, break-even point is just there, which is this accumulation, support resistance area. So we quite possibly will get stuck there. It's almost at ADR. So I'll have a think about it when and if it gets to break even. Obviously, if today it pulls back down again, I shall get in again down here. So basically just entering the positions. And this is the beauty of when the market is slow like this and range bound. The thing you want to concentrate on is taking positions off and putting them back on again. Yeah. So this one I took off. Yeah. You know, you just keep taking it off and putting it back on. And as long as it keeps being range bound, so be it. Let it continue to be range bound and just keep milking it. Keep taking it off, putting it in the bank, adding it on, and doing the same thing over and over again. Eventually you're going to get to a point where you just go, I can't be bothered anymore, and you'll get out. Same with the Aussie yen. So with the Aussie yen, just taking that one off there from here. So if it pulls back down to here, I'll add that one back on again, somewhere down at the Asian lows or maybe at yesterday's low, see what price action does. And I'll get in on the next M5 reversal alert if we get down there. If we get up to there, job done, I'm out, and I've milked it and made a load of money out of it. Apart from my fat finger stupid mistake of taking that off by mistake, which was my fault, but I made it back with that. So yeah, you see I've profit. If it pulls back, I'll get in again, profit. If it gets up to there, I'll get out of that one, and that's all profit. Yeah, that's basically what position trading is all about. In, out, in, out, in, out. Add it back on again as and when, not sitting there and waiting and hoping. But we'll see what happens with those. Aussie New Zealand is the other thing I've got on, obviously, and that's just not going anywhere. So this one, again, if we can get an ADR hit back up into this propulsion gap, if we can get up to this position, actually, what I'll probably do is if we can make it back up to that position there, I'll close the whole lot out there. I'll take a scratch on that and take profit on those two. And stick that in the bank, and then I'll be flat for the weekend. That's the plan. Very slow week, very slow. I was expecting this week to be kick-ass because of the news. We've had FOMC, we've got non-farm payroll, we've had rate announcements, we've had CPIs. You know, it just hasn't done anything, is it? It's just one of them weeks. But got to live with them, unfortunately. That's what I was just talking about when I mentioned I get alerts come up on my desktop for these. Foreign Minister Lavrov, Russia and China to increase practical cooperation. So second and third largest armies in the world teaming up. Sound good? No. I really don't like that relationship those guys have got. It's worrying because they're both dictatorships. But yeah, we'll see. Ministers are Harvey. Yeah, right. So just a quick overview of what's going on in the UK. Boris Johnson obviously has had a vote of no confidence, which he survived. We've now had 46 members of government resign since Tuesday, including Rishi Sunak and some big players in government. So the Chancellor's gone, you know, the Education Secretary's gone. The 1922 committee, which decides whether or not there can be a leadership contest or a vote of no confidence, has given Boris until next week to think about stuff, and then they may change the law so we can have another vote of no confidence to kick him out. He said he's not going to walk and he's just going to fight it all. So it's all a bit up and down with government at the moment in the UK. And quite a few people have now thrown their hat in the ring to say, yeah, I want to be Prime Minister. So it'd be interesting, including the Attorney General in the UK. So she's put her hat in the ring last night live on telly as well. So it's pretty interesting what's going on. But a lot of the big players in government want him out. This shouldn't have any impact on the pound. So government leadership challenges don't tend to affect the economy. Therefore, they don't tend to affect currency. It can cause fluctuations and spikes when news gets released, as the market has a knee-jerk reaction to it. Oh my God, what shall I do? But then they suddenly go, actually, this has got bugger all to do with what's going to happen with the strength or the weakness of the pound. And then they suddenly go, oh yeah. So any whipsaws you get on news announcements for anything to do with changing government, just fade it back, because normally it will come straight back to where it was. So that's what's going on in the UK, but you'll probably find little bits of news like this popping in over the next few days as things tend to unfold. But yeah, interesting times we're living in at the minute. So that's it for today. Nothing exciting happening there. Waiting for stuff to come. Oh, I'm in pound CAD. There we go. Entered pound CAD. So short pound CAD with my position there. If it pushes back up, the EA will get me in on the next reversal alert on M5 short, assuming we are at least 60 pips away, half an ADR. So yeah, looking for that. And then I've got my other entry on a break of that low to add in. And if we break that low and get what I'm looking for, I keep talking about the pop. What I'm looking for is a pop out the low, so a decent 1 hour, 4 hour candle short. And if that happens, I think we're going to get a breakdown, and I'll probably just take that position off and then ride the second one. So all looking pretty good there. Yeah, that's about it at the moment on that. Futures wise, obviously, it's crap. Literally, we're just playing this. We've been playing this volume. Look at the volume. It's just not getting. It can't get anywhere. Looks like a pullback long to me. We've only gone up on 1.3, so we're not. It's just no volume in the market. There's nothing to move it. So we're probably going to rotate this area, I would say, back to VWAP. There's your point of control. I mean, literally, we have been rotating point of control. Look at the range on it. What are we? We're like 62.50 to 58.50. We've got a 6-point range we're rotating at the moment on 8k volume. It's just crap. I wouldn't even want to take a break of the highs today, because I don't think it'll get anywhere. Totally neutral. No big orders. It's just rubbish. So I don't think we can trade futures either today. I took a $400 loss. The only short I took of the day, they just pulled it straight back up again. So I don't really want to get involved with this. The only play you've got really today is the rotation. So look at where we're rotating, and look at where we've been, and sell the session highs, and look for where you're going to rotate. I mean, to me, the obvious rotation point is going to be back to point of control today, and just maybe rotate this section. But it's dangerous selling the higher session, because you get the pop. But it's also dangerous, I think, buying the high of session today, because you've got an opportunity to rotate back down. So you just get in whipsawed. Does Jigsaw show DAX? You can get that. Yeah, you can get anything. It depends if you buy the feed for the DAX. You need the Eurex for the DAX. I don't think I've got Eurex. God, what's the DAX? That's going to test me. That's euro dollar. Is it DAXy? No. I don't think I've got the DAX on any of my feeds. I don't think Apex supply it. And it's not on Top Step, so I haven't got it, no. Does anybody know what the ticker is for the DAX? I don't, because you can't trade it through Apex, so I don't have it because I don't. It's very thin, so you can. These all move at the same. You know, this is why I have the DAX. Is it FDAX? Yeah, it is FDAX. That's what I was looking for. Hang on a minute, let me just check. Oh yeah, I have got it. It's Eurex on Apex. There we go. September 18 contract. What? Oh no, September 22 contract. Yeah, I haven't got the data. Look. It's FDAX. You can get it. You need Eurex feed, which I haven't got. So you can trade it, but you can't trade it on Apex because it's not one of their tradable instruments. So they're obviously restricted the feed for it by the looks of things. But you know, this is why I have all of them up there. These all move in tandem. All of these instruments all move pretty much the same. So you can pick any one. If the DAX is going to pop, the ES is going to pop with it, and so is the Nasdaq, and so is the Dow, and so is the Russell. So if you want to trade futures during the Frankfurt Open, you'll get very similar. I mean, if you look at the chart on the DAX, yeah, remember where we are. We from the open, yeah, we pushed down, and I said there's an opening range breakout, potentially going for the gap. Then we pushed up out the high of the opening range. So there's your opening range. There was your breakdown. There was your break up. Now we're tapping into the top of the opening range, potentially looking long, which is why I said, you know, we've pulled back on 5k volume. We've now pulled back on 6.9 volume, and we haven't actually made it back down further. So it looks long, but it's just going to rotate, I think. So, but what happens to the DAX will happen on the ES. So you can just trade the ES. It will do virtually the same thing. You won't get quite as much movement in the ES as you will in the DAX. But remember what I say about sectors. Institutional buying, large contracts, will be buying sectors. So they will be buying industrial sector, they'll be buying the aerospace sector, they'll be buying the food sector, the tech sector, etc., etc. So the DAX has all of those stocks in it, as does the Nasdaq and the ES. So if they buy the aerospace sector, they will be buying aerospace across all of these indices. So you get similar movements. The only one that really differs is the Nasdaq, because it is only tech stocks. So that will have a lot more volatility when there's a lot of tech stock buying or selling, which won't be reflected as much in the other two. So you get divergence on the DAX. On the Nasdaq rather, with the other indices. There we go. So there's our opening, there's our pop, right? So that's our high. We've just tried to crack the high there, yeah? Normally that is a trade I would take at the open. But we didn't get the pop, look. We made 3 ticks out the high there. I'd be looking for a minimum 8 tick TP on something like that. It's just, you haven't got any, it's just not got any legs today. So it's a dangerous thing. That's where I'll probably look to sell it. Look at all those buyers that just got absorbed there. Large volume of buys came in, but we didn't make any move. So potentially I think we'll probably rotate back down to there. But it's a dangerous game playing that, because if this does turn into a breakout, you're going to be the wrong side of it and you're not going to get back on. You kind of need to position trade this today, which is it is a strategy that works. I can't. Have I got an account I can do this? Let me do it on that account. What's the drawdown? 2.5. So if I'm going to sell it there, yeah. So if this does turn out to be a breakout, right? So what I would do is I'm going to look for a rotation play, yeah. So that guy there on 213 contracts, I'm just going to front run him. So what I'm looking at is us not having the legs to do a breakout today, and we're going to rotate this cluster. So I'm looking to get out down there somewhere, ahead of this guy. If this does turn out to be a breakout, I'm going to assume that they are going to push, and this guy is going to absorb all those buyers eventually there, and we will run out of steam when we get there. So you can position trade this. Say I would go just above that guy and assume that we're going to get up to this bloke, we're going to pop through that contract, run out of steam, and then my average will be here, and I will look to rotate back down into these highs, and that's where I'll escape the position with about $150 profit down there. So it's kind of a mini, when you've got really low volume, slow market like this is quite a good play, and it works well. I would never get in with more than 2 contracts, but I've got $400 loss if it pushes out the highs, which is fine. If this pushes out the highs, I would take a $600 loss there if this gets triggered. So I'm looking for either that to happen or that to happen, but I'm not looking for it to fly. It's not flying. You can see it's not flying. We've got all this absorption going on here. The market's just not got any legs. So that's kind of a decent play today, because the market's slow. You just got to be aware of news catalysts. Head fake, Trevor. Yeah, it's not even a head fake. This is a head fake. This. I think you should call it a head fade. It's a breakout pullback. This hasn't. All this managed to do was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ticks. That's all it got. I would class it. That would be a head fake somewhere up here. That's where I really like to fade it. But this is counter trend play, and you should be looking for longs. Like I said, we pulled back on 6.9 thousand, 7k. We pulled back on 7k. So we pulled back on larger. So there's 2 things to look at when you're using this chart, a swing chart. What you're looking for is a push and a pullback on lower volume than you pushed on, which is bullish. A pullback on higher volume than you pushed on that doesn't make any progress is also bullish, although it will paint bearish because it is higher volume. So this is all bullish, so I should be looking for longs. But when you see that much absorption happening, that much buying coming through and making 7 ticks of progress, you just know that the market has got no buying power. It doesn't matter what Delta said. It's not got any buying power. But I should be looking for longs. You want to be going with the trend. So this is a counter trend play. So it's a lot more dangerous, but you've got to take more risk when the market is so slow, because if you want to make money, you've got to be in it. If you've got to be in it, you've got to take some counter trends, because you just haven't got enough momentum to play the trend. So again, buying down here above point of control, that's where I'd look to buy. Why? Because that's where we keep buying. We bought there last time. I'm going to assume we're going to rotate back down and buy it again. And this time we might get a bit of a run out the high and get more of a push. You know, this guy's playing the same game. This guy here. So this 215 contracts here is this bloke here. It's the other side of his order. Assuming that isn't a spoof order. I don't think it is, because it's been in the market for ages. You can see, look. I don't think it's a spoof, but again, you know, I'll scratch it if it pushes up again. I don't want to take an unnecessary risk. I also don't want to take $100 profit. I probably should, but I think we'll probably rotate down to here, in which case that's where I'll get out and use him as a backstop. And then up here I'll use him as a backstop up there. If we get a push out, fake, back. You struggle to... a head fake is more pronounced. Yeah, head fake is normally more of a... That's a good head fake, that, to me. Head fake is just market structure, really. It's a push. They call a head fake what I call market structure. So you know, it's the push out and then the fade. and then the entry, and then the push out, and then the fade, and then the entry, and then the push out, the fade. And that's where you get into your trend. After you see that move, you get in on the pullbacks. And this is what I use for session trend. Delta's, you know, if Delta's blue, Delta's going up, use this as your trend tool. This is the easiest trend tool. If Delta is continually moving up, yeah, you want to be long. You know, this is kind of like your super simple zigzag trend indicator. Morning Analia, who isn't Analia, who is Fabio. Morning Canali. Oh no, I thought it spent you. PM to resign today. What? Really? Nah. Is he resigning, is he? Whoa, he is. Okay, right. Big spike on the pound of that. Remember what I said a minute ago? Fade it. This is the market going, PM's resigning. What impact's that got on the pound? Nothing. Oh, okay. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. It's not good for the pound, is it? Instability in the government, not good. Yeah, he's going. Fine. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm really not surprised. Not surprised at all. But yeah. I'm taking 150 off. I think 137.50. More 125 even. You can't see that down there, can you? Thought head fake was a break of market structure, then quick reversal back below market structure. Yeah. Well, there's two types of head fake. It's a bit of a misleading terminology, I think. And different people play it in different ways. So, what they potentially also class as a head fake is what we would call an M pattern reversal. There's your head fake. But when you're in line with a trend, the fade is where you would buy from. So, head fakes at strong levels of previous support and resistance. So if you were looking at a chart, let's say if you were looking at like an hourly chart, and you saw this level of resistance, right? And it did that and that. That is what they class as a head fake, or what we would class as a stop run. But what I class as kind of a head fake is that movement where you look for buying pressure to come in after the fade, and I use it for market structure. You call it what you will. I'm not sure it's a very good terminology to use, because some people are looking for a reversal out of it. Other people are looking for a trend continuation out of it. But the same thing, isn't it? It's a push up and then a pull back down below that previous support. So I just love this the heat map tool. When you see this movement heat map and you see these bubbles forming, you know you should be shorting it. This is absorption. Yeah. If you get it in the middle of nowhere, it's nothing. But when you've had a big push and you see a bubble form, you know this is absorption. So the buyers are absorbing all of these massive sell orders, and as soon as we push back above there, you want to buy it. You also get obviously the bubbles forming on breakouts where the sellers try to absorb all those buying orders, and then they make that pop, and that's where you get the pop where I buy the highs. I want to see bubbles when I buy the high, and then I would see large volume coming in behind me in my direction. I want to see this happening. If that doesn't, and it mucks about, I scratch, which is why I scratched that 37.50. That one down there, where I'm, I don't know where I'm writing, down there somewhere. I can't draw on my P&L because it's on another monitor. Oh yeah, you can there. So that scratch I took that scratch because it just didn't go, and I didn't have them coming in behind me, so I got out. And again here, we're just running out of volume. Tick strike's dead. Market's flat. You don't want to be taking breaks in a market that's got no volume coming into it. Unless you're scalping 3 or 4 ticks, and that's probably all you'll get. In a normal market with decent volume, yeah. But that's a fade. This is a, don't know, possibly buy it from here, get out up here. It's just so, these sessions, you've got to try and milk $100 out at a time and just try and build your bank up. Horrible. A lot of people don't trade this session, Globex. They just don't trade it because it's notoriously difficult and whippy. I quite like it, but I'd like it to be more volume than this. There's no volume here at all today. It's not enough. I'm looking for more. Yeah, there's the open yesterday. Look, we did 11,000, 7,000, 6,000, 6,000, 8,000. We got 5 at our open today. So yeah, you just see there's no volume, is there? Just can't trade it. Look at that. We're building volume on a, what, 7 tick range. But these are, a lot of people trade this. I can't do it. I find it so hard to sell that, buy that, sell that, buy that, sell that, buy that. I'd be interested in buying that, but I can't sell that because the market's bullish at the minute. I can't trade this. This is one of the things they teach you to trade, volume rotations. And I like trading big volume rotations like I just did there, but I can't trade these little things. They drive me up the wall. Anywho, each of their own. You've got to try these things, do these drills. But yeah, I think I'm going to struggle today. So I'm going to wait until the New York Open, and I think I'll trade the Open. Unless I see some volume. If I hear tick strike going nuts, that's the beauty of tick strike. I can get on with other things. If I hear tick strike going crazy, it's like, well, there's something happening in the market. We'll have a look and see if we can get into stuff. But if tick strike's just ticking every now and again, doing nothing, I'll just do something else. Because you just run the risk of getting chopped to pieces. Tough sitting on an evaluation account with this market. Yeah, very tough. Just nothing. At least we've got a cluster forming here. So you've got a backstop building. So when we pop, if we pop, this is where you want to be interested in buying the pullback. This volume cluster here where we're building. So just think about this. This is accumulation. Yeah, after accumulation comes a propulsion move. we tend to pull back to the propulsion gap, top of the accumulation, and then move from there. So exactly the same as we have on the charts, but this is obviously you're seeing, rather than just seeing accumulation on no volume, you're seeing accumulation on decent volume. So they are building a position here. Still no big orders coming through, so there's lots of small positions being built, and they will eventually take it somewhere. But drill day today, yeah, I mean, good luck drilling this as well. You know, I would say this is a long. There's a guy sitting here on 200 contracts looking to go long. Remember this guy, look, right? This order's been pulled. Yeah, he wants to go long. Somebody is sitting there in a minute and is going to go long 200 contracts. They are trying to get into the market long. When they get into the market long, we're going to get a pop. They're looking to get out at 70s. So we want to be looking for longs. So, you know, on rotations like this, yes, buy the lows, get out there. Every time it gets down there, get out there. Every time it gets down there, get out there. But don't sell, because if this guy suddenly goes, screw you, and it enters at market, we're going to go. If he gets fed up and goes, I'll just hit the market buy and just push it, you don't want to be in the rotation short. I'd much rather be in the rotations long. But this is the sort of stuff you can drill. There you go, look. It's 64 put in there. He's still got his 205 in there, so that's someone else entering long. So, you know, we've got longs building in here. Looks like it wants to go. So, again, you can add an order. Might do it, actually. Where do we rotate to? I'm going at 50s. 64.50. So, if we break this high, I'll start entering along. And I've got him as a backstop behind me, so I know that if it does start to push down, we've got some bears coming in, they're likely going to get stuck there and we're going to rotate. So I've got an opportunity to get in with this guy as well down here with a second position. I don't mind getting in close with two positions when we're this slow. In a fast market you don't want to do that because you just get shot to death. But drilling is very hard in this market. I'll look again if we go up to 3,900 for a shorting opportunity. 3,900? That's miles away. That's all the way up there. We're not going to get up there today. Well, not in this session anyway. If you're looking to swing it, yeah. But I just don't think you can swing this today. I painted my office yesterday. My entire, all the walls in my office. I'm putting up some wood panelling when it arrives today or tomorrow. Soundproofing panelling. And I was sitting here yesterday when I was having a break waiting for the first coat to dry, thinking, I was watching the market go sideways. So I was watching paint dry in the markets and I was also watching paint dry on the walls. That's how bored I was yesterday. Wow. I won't bore you with this anymore. It's not going anywhere, is it? 8 contracts, 15 contracts. There's literally nothing going on. 17 contracts long. It's algo's scalping ticks basically at the minute. But that's my plan basically. I want to go long. And I'm not going to get greedy, be looking to get $100 out at a time and just buy it with this guy basically. Just see if there's any so basically we just swept the highs of Asia. So anyone that went short like me and used a stop is dead. Just pushed up again and rejected, so looks nice for a little short, but again nothing much happening here, is there? God, if you want an exciting occupation, there's a lot more exciting occupations than this, isn't there? US dollars coming down against the CAD. Wow. What are we waiting for? Look at it. It's flat as pancake. Gone long. See, all that buying. We've moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticks. So that move you just heard going off, again, he hasn't moved. That's someone else. It's probably this guy pushing more contracts through. There was no big orders to make that move. We've put in more sell orders than we have buys and ticked up. I'm reducing my risk on this. I'm just going to go. I'm going to sit behind that guy. I don't want to take more than $150 on it. I'll sit down there just behind that cluster. If this breaks to the downside, we are going to just chop today, and this is where it gets really dangerous. You either have to have a wide stop and grab $75, $100, $150 maybe at a time out of it. If you use tight stops like this behind clusters, it gets dangerous. But then again, if we suddenly just go into one of these horrible hour-long grind down, you're going to lose $400. Well, I'm going to lose $400 with a wide stop on it. So it's just hard. It's very, 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 very hard. Which is why, as I say, most people sit out Globex a lot of the time and just trade New York, because you can get really murdered, and that makes you cross, that makes you overtrade. You start getting in with 2 contracts and 3 contracts at a time instead of singles, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you've blown an account because you've been chopped around by the market. So if you see it going against you, it's better just to sit there and go, I'll come back in at 2:30. So that's what I would call a mini head fake on this volume. That's where I'd look to buy it again and assume that we're going to run these highs. See, it'd be interesting to see if we get down here what happens with this guy. He hasn't moved. So we've got some selling coming in. So just watch this 62.25 level. See what happens here. We might get him run over. See, what you don't know and what you can't see here is if there's any big players waiting to dump 500 contracts into the market here and just run this bloke over, he will drop 3 or 4 and he will get out of his position and he'll sell 200 contracts with whoever has dumped those large contracts on him, and we'll get a run down and then we will just rotate back again. So watched Flight Radar yesterday morning. There were 2 Eurofighters buzzing Edinburgh just below supersonic speed. Yeah, now that would be fun, yeah. Right, he's just moved up. He's popped up to 62.75. See, he's pulled that order up again. Yeah, so moved it up. He's moving up 2 ticks at a time. He's chasing this. He wants in. He wants long. But he wants a good price. So now he's moved up to buy these lows. If we tick down below these lows, he's defending this zone. So this, to me, looks like a real order. Would you ever consider taking another contract long at 38.6250? Yeah. To average down. In a market this slow, you've got loads of time to think. In New York, no, I wouldn't take one there, because if I get run over in New York, I'm going to get run over for $800 fast. But when it's this slow, yeah, I mean, I would average in. Assuming we're going to continue to rotate this, I would average in somewhere down here. Yeah, and then obviously your average is there, and by the time you get back up to here, you're $100 in profit. That's where I'd take it off. Go for $100 a time. So 75s, get in with them at 75s, you could. But I've got one, and we're pushing now. We've got some buyers coming in. You see what I mean about the correlation with the markets, yeah? DAX has just lit up constantly there. ES didn't light up at all, but we've pushed 5 ticks. Whoever's buying hard in the DAX at the moment is also buying stocks in ES and NASDAQ and Dow. Sector buying. So you can tell that's a big player because they're buying across all sectors. This is probably institutional buying for a long-term hold. They're not looking to get in and get out with 3 ticks. They're buying for clients to hold, pension funds, investments, all that sort of stuff. It's all bought in futures and sold in futures. My God, might put some paint on the wall in a minute. Much more interesting. In fact, I've got a couple of sockets to screw back onto the wall. That's my job for the morning. That's going to take literally about 30 seconds. Got to put blind up. That's what I've got to do. Got to find something to do. I'm hanging on. I just want to show you what happens when this contract gets executed. Look at this. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Okay, so 196. So we're tapping into it. 230, so they're adding to the bid, adding to the bid, adding to the bid. Also adding to the offer as well. So he's been run over. There you go. So guy got run over. Look at that. 152 contracts entered in one go. That's why I didn't want to hold that 400 loss. Steamrollered. The delta. You know, so now we're down at these lows. Do we buy up the double bottom? It's just chop. I'm not going to trade it. It's you can't tell what to do in this sort of condition because the big boys have got far too much power. You just saw what they can do there. You have to flip a coin. You've no idea what they're going to do when they're going to do it. You saw how many orders got added in there. Yeah, there was nothing sitting on this side on the offer until we hit that big order there, and then all of a sudden, this column here, they were adding to longs. So they were adding to the offer. This guy was adding to his bid, adding to his bid. They were adding more and more and more to the offer, absorbing every single bid the guy was putting in. And eventually he ran out of steam, ran out of contracts, ticked down 4 ticks. He had to puke, otherwise he was going to go into a massive loss. And as he puked that order, like he was in here, wasn't he? Yeah. So as he moved down 4 ticks, he had to become a seller. As he became a seller, he added to all of the sellers that were adding to the offer, and boom, that's where you get the spike. And now we go quiet. So that guy just lost 4 ticks on 200 contracts. Someone over here just made 4 to 6 ticks exactly the same time as he lost them. Right? But we don't have the power to move the market like that. They do. So you have got literally a 50-50 shot. You don't know whether now they're going to rotate back or whether they're going to rotate down. No idea. So this is where everybody gets run over, and it gets, it's too hard. Should you be going bearish now? I would probably be looking more for shorts than longs now, based on that delta and the way the tick strike's lighting up. But again, all of that selling can easily get absorbed, and then we just rotate back up to here. So you're looking for $100 at a time, but you can easily lose $100, $150, $200 by getting a run over move like that. If I'd have kept that 400 loss on from there, I'd still be in, but I would be sitting now in $300 a drawdown, wanting to buy again here, which would potentially work. Get out up there, probably with $100 profit, but it's a hard way to make money. So, you're better off doing something else, coming back when there's some volatility. But look at all this sell coming in now. Look, I mean, they're selling hard. We're making 8 ticks off of a big volume sell. There you go, there's a big order just gone in there, 30 contracts long. So I'd be looking to buy and potentially rotate up there now. So counter trend buy. Missed it, but where's that one stuck there? Not long. But I'm counter trend, didn't get filled on that, look. 13th in the queue, 14 contracts. So we now got a big order sitting there, so I'm sitting behind him with my loss. We've got light volume area here, which would be another good place to buy ahead of these this volume cluster. So you could pop one in there to go back up. But if you're going to do that, you want to reduce your risk, because if that gets broken, you want to be out of both positions. So that would be the play. And this contract here, if I got filled on that, the stop would be in the same place at VWAP. So I'm looking for this basically to be my backstop, so then to come down, not be able to penetrate that area and rotate back up again. But I'm counter trend, you see now, potentially. But equally, we've got just as much chance of rotating back up to point of control, which is 150. You kind of want one-to-one risk reward, and just got to hope you win more than 50% of your trades, because you won't move enough. There's no directional bias, so you're not going to get those big moves, because you just can't predict which way the market's going to go when it's this light. Again, buying this low. So this low was 52.25. So 52.25 is there. So again, buy that low with a limit order. High probability we're going to get some buying down here, and we're just going to range. So that's a good area to start buying. If it slips out of the value area low past that big contract, likelihood is you're going to run down. So you've got opportunity of getting run over there as well. It's just a dangerous thing, Globex, when it's like this. But some days you'll milk this for, like I've milked it for $1,000, $2,000 in a morning. It takes ages, but equally, if you get it wrong, you can lose 2,000 in exactly the same amount of time, which is why I think a lot of people just don't like trading Globex, because it is very difficult. You know, everyone's thinking, oh, this is definitely a short, and you'll see this basically pull all the way back up there, and they're like, it wasn't a short. Now it's a long, and they'll get in long, and they'll pull back down and run them over again, and it's ranging. You want to be buying the lows, anticipating the lows, and anticipating the highs, selling the highs and buying the lows, and assuming that all we're going to do all day long is just rotate somewhere in this volume cluster, in this value area. You just don't know where. You know, it's horrible. But you know, I'd be interested in getting 137.50 out of it just before point of control. If we tip point of control, we're likely to fly through there and get stuck at that cluster where we sold. So they're going to want to add to their shorts up there. Quite a lot of volume up there. Not a massive amount, but this is drills. This is what you want to be drilling. You want to be drilling sessions like this, not using real money. Just get in and out of the market and watch it. What happens when you get to different areas? What happens when you get volume after a drop coming in? Buy volume after a drop. What happens after that? And just identify stuff that happens in low volume, because if you want to trade low volume, you've got to witness low volume to know what to do with low volume. But you know, it's high risk. If they break that cluster, it's going to take a bit of volume to get through that cluster. So what I don't want to see is large sell volume coming in. I want to see large volume coming in, but bouncing off of this level. Exactly what it's doing now, you see. Tapping into it, bouncing off of it. Tapping into it, bouncing off of it. Tapping into it, bouncing off of it. Move back 3 ticks, give up. These shorts didn't work. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go long. Yeah, and when we rotate up a little bit. So now you can see my average is there. So I can pull my TP all the way down to there to make $100. Quick in and out. But equally, I don't want to take too much risk on it. If this doesn't hold, I want to be out. I don't want to be taking a normal big risk position. I just realised I put a sell order in there. I wanted to buy. What was that level? 52.25. Oh yeah, that was there, wasn't it? So I'll buy that 52.25 level if they try and get there. Much rather they just tick up and give me $100. In fact, I'm going to go for 162. I'm being greedy because I just lost 150. $64 contracts long in there, but small players, no big players stepped in. See, we tapped it again. Do you see that? We touched it, we bounced out. Yeah, so everybody's buying this level. This is being defended. All the volume here is buying. Yeah, every time the sellers tap into that, they get pushed back out of it. This is the sort of stuff when you're drilling over and over again, you notice this happening. And that's where you go, right, I'm going to stick a buy order on that, because every time they stick a buy order on it, it pops 4 pips. 4 pips is worth $50. Yeah, take a $50 scalp every time it touches that level with a $50 loss. If you can do that 3 times and you lose once, you've made $100. One-to-one risk reward when you see something happening over and over again is not a bad thing. But obviously the danger I've got here is this is the level they want. And that level has got a very high probability of being run over. We're selling into this so much, we're not making any progress. Look, buying. The buyers are absorbing all the sellers at the minute. But it only takes one bloke to step in with large volume. This 144, if he steps down, it's going to run over 3 or 4 levels at a time, and I'm gone. What I'd like to see is some buyers starting to step in now. So these guys that have been selling into this level for the last, I don't know, what, 5 minutes have been selling into this level there and not making any progress. So we got delta divergence, yeah? So delta is moving down, price isn't. So this is delta divergence, this is bullish. So it's showing that we've been selling, and no movement whatsoever in price. Absorption by buyers is a bullish sign. Now we've got positive delta starting to show. So what I might do is move my TPs up into this cluster up here, because we may well now get all of these people that have been selling there. If we can push up 4 or 5 ticks, some of these guys that were selling hard into there are going to go, nah, I'm out, and they're going to become buyers, which might give us that quick flush, quick run up. And we've got no big orders sitting here. That area there, if we pop over the top of that, we're going to fly through a little bit, so we get a flush out the top, but we'll probably find resistance here. Point of control is where we've had the most contracts traded today, and we are down below the point of control, which means the sellers are in charge. So we may find some aggressive selling coming in. Like that. 89 contracts. We just got bigger there. 97, 94. So again, equal buyers and sellers at that level. So again, not going to take a risk on it, cover it. I've got $137 I can take, but I think this is probably worth a go for a long. We've got some buyers starting to come in on DAX. We've got positive delta. What I might do actually, yeah, see that is the safe place for a stop behind here in case we come back down and retest this level. If we run out of buyers up here, we probably come and retest this level again. But Nasdaq's pushing, Dow is pushing, DAX has got volume, positive delta. we're pushing up here. We've got large orders coming in. So it's given me every confidence I want to stay long, and I should be going for a bit more of a profit than taking this 160. But moving to break even is risky because I could quite easily get out break even. The sensible thing to do right now is actually to take $162. But again, this is where your discretion comes in. Big volume coming in again, look. More selling, just a bit more selling than buying there. Yeah, so that's something you need to look out for, delta divergence. It's nice when the market's this slow because you can see it easily. Delta's coming down. All this is showing you, all cumulative delta shows you is in this minute, were there more sellers than buyers? Yeah, so if there's for 5 minutes solid, if there's more sellers than buyers and price is moving up, it means these sellers are losing the battle. And eventually they're going to get out their positions with a loss, which turns them into buyers. And this is why you get positive delta following it, because this is them exiting their positions and buyers stepping in when they see sign of momentum. I think this is momentum at the minute. 3,000 contracts is momentum for Globex, but normally this would be like 20,000, 50,000s, you know, big volume. But it's nice seeing it this playing out slowly. And a lot of people that trade the treasuries markets, like the bonds, they are very thick liquid markets with hundreds or thousands of contracts on the bid and the offer, and it moves this slow all the time. And spotting delta divergence is a very easy way to get in and make money, but you need to be getting in on those with sort of 5 to 10 contracts at a time, because it will move 3 or 4 ticks an hour sometimes. But you can use this sort of stuff to get in and make decent money. See there, that's worrying. We've pushed up on 4,000 contracts, and that's all we could do on 4,000 contracts. So we've put in more volume than the last push up, and we have made no progress. So that's a warning sign. So I'm thinking now, maybe not. Which is why I said maybe I should have taken that 162. Again, you just can't tell. I don't want this to slip and take a loss on it. There's no point in taking a loss. I'd rather take a scratch for $12.50, cover the commissions, and go, well, I'm wrong, and if it flies, it flies, I'm wrong, never mind. But if it drops, I do not want to get run over. There you go. What happened there? I just bought two. Blong, I should have sold. Wow, that was a schoolboy error. See, this is the problem. You lose concentration when it's this slow and horrible as well. That was just stupid. I'm just going to go flat on this to see if I can get the commissions covered on 12.50. I moved the wrong order then, didn't I? Oh, this is going to cost me. I'll take a 230 loss on this. I should have taken a scratch. I'm just going to try and scratch it. There you go. That was lucky. So I actually made a little loss on that, but there you go. Schoolboy error. But you see what I mean? It's just not worth it, is it? All I'm doing at the moment is slightly hemorrhaging cash. And commissions will kill you in this. You could do $50 in commission and not make any money. So anywho, I'm going to leave that because I'm not going to trade it. The only trade I'd be interested in is potentially a buy at 52.25, which is here. But the way this is going, I think you will be sitting in this getting bored and frustrated. So like I say, it's probably better to go and do something else. But that's a good example, hopefully. Gives you a few ideas of stuff to look for. That's what my head is thinking. My alarm bells were ringing because we've done 4,000 contracts long and we haven't made any progress. 5,000 contracts made that much movement. 4,000 contracts should make that much movement. It didn't. It made that much movement. So my head is now thinking these buyers have had to push really hard to get there, and they haven't made any headway. They got absorbed by the sellers. And now they're getting out their orders like I was. We break this low and tumble down. Here comes the tumble. Back down to 53.25, which is here. There, we just tapped into 53.25 there. See some big contracts sitting below 53.25. They're looking to buy that area of value because this is now a double bottom. Oh no, sorry, 52.25. I'm 4 ticks out. So yeah, these guys are looking to buy the double bottom. There you go, look, 159 contracts just come in, just sitting under that level. So what he's looking for is to defend that low. So buying up the double bottom, limit orders. Again, this is why this is so good. You're seeing. This is why this is why double bottoms happen. You're seeing why double bottoms happen. The banks. You're seeing them actually doing what we see on the charts every day. This is why. There you go. They just bought that double bottom. Looks like that's a news event to me. Has Boris just resigned? That was a dangerous whipsaw, that. What was that? No. So we just had 6,000 contracts go long there. Why didn't I buy the double bottom? I never do as I say, do I? Yeah. Anyway. I just wanted to see if that was is that the forecast maybe? Don't know what that was. Just a spike off that low. So I'll be looking for longs now. Yeah, and you see how quick, there we go. Not sure if that would have been the thing, but that did happen at 10 o'clock. It's 10:01. Bank of Japan expected to cut fiscal economic forecasts. Let's see if anything's happening. Just watching the ends to see. Oh my god, that pound CAD just pulled back. Oh, it hasn't pulled back. It's not gone anywhere, is it? So basically, I got into that pound CAD. Exactly as Boris announced he was resigning. So we're just holding up here. When Boris resigns, I think we might actually resigns and says he's going to resign and does the press conference. I think we might get that drop again. But yeah, so that was a big whipsaw. Got some money on the Aussie New Zealand, but not enough to take. I'm tempted to get out with a scratch on that, you know, because I've had a good week and I can't really be bothered to trade it anymore. Nothing's happening. So yeah, so that whipsaw, look. So we pushed up off of that low. We got bought up just before we hit the double bottom. Basically, we got bought up. You saw those big contracts coming in there. A lot of people adding big orders in. They just took profit at 60.50 and 61.25. So jumped in down here and jumped out 61.25 and 60.50. So that was their trade from there all the way up to there, pushed the market up. So we pushed up and then we pulled out all the way back down again to literally within what, 54.05. We moved from 53.50. So literally 2 ticks. So we pushed up, we pulled all the way back within 2 ticks of our entry price, added to the positions, and now we're sitting up here. But what are you going to do now? You're going to go long or you're going to go short? You know, nothing's changed, is it? We still don't have any directional bias today. And we have a load of people that were just literally taken out. If I'd have been long or short in the market at any point there with a $400 loss, I'd have lost. But you saw why that happened, yeah? Also, the other thing you've got to take into account as well, think about also exactly when did that happen? Hourly candle. You remember I've said a few times in the live rooms when we've been scalping the DAX, wait for the candle to close, because you'll find that seconds before a candle is due to close, 5 or 10 seconds before, that candle will change shape. It may look like a hammer with 10 seconds to go on a 5-minute candle, but when it closes bullish. Because what they're trying to do is entice everybody to jump in short, and as soon as you jump in short, 5 or 10 seconds before, they go, actually, no, we're going to take this long. Oh, I better get out. That's an hourly candle close. They just completely took everybody out. Look, it's not a coincidence that it went up to there before it came back down. I would say we need to be shorting this. That's a stop run. Everybody that's entered short in Globex is dead. But I'm not going to take that risk because I literally can't be bothered. It's too dangerous. Right, so that's me for today. I will be back tomorrow at 7:50. News-wise, obviously, I'm just going to manage this lot. I'll put in the Telegram group what I'm doing with it, if I'm doing anything with it. But at the minute, there's nothing I can do with anything. So you have got news today. We've got a bit of Euro news. We've got unemployment. We've got PMI. So we've got Euro, US and CAD this afternoon. Not big news events, but just be aware of them if you're in the market when they're happening and you see some movement. That's why. And obviously tomorrow's non-farm payroll. So tomorrow is the biggie. We should hopefully get some whipsaws and then get some direction starting. Because God, do we need it at the moment. I noticed a lot of time it's like there's a lot of orders taking place at the end of the candle. Yeah, it's very common, and we see it all the time here. If you look at an hourly candle I don't know what this was like, but you look at that last hourly candle that closed there on the Aussie New Zealand, and then look at the 1-minute chart. Right, look at that. Yeah, that's a prime example. Couldn't have picked a better example, could we? So the hour there, 11 o'clock. So we were there, yeah? When that candle closed, right, it closed, it was about to close. So this is 1 minute before the candle closed. That candle looked like that. It was a bearish, massive bearish candle. Literally, as the candle was closing, they painted it like that. Because everybody now that was short on the 1 minute chart, because they're crazy and they're trading chop, is now dead. Oops. Yeah, look at that hourly candle. That's a really bullish candle. But it was about to be... Can't paint it like that, can I? It was about to be one of those, wasn't it? Oh, that's what it looked like. until 1 minute before the candle close. It's not a coincidence. You know, they know what they're doing. They know we're all watching. They know all retail uses candlesticks. This is why you have to wait for candles to close. They're crafty buggers. Yeah, so that's where I am. I'm going to watch some paint dry. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:50. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. Hopefully, today stroke tomorrow, my soundproofing panels will all arrive, and I'll have my blind up and some pictures on the wall, and yeah, I'll take a nice photo so you can all see what it looks like. But I'll hopefully be less echoey. If not tomorrow, Monday, I will definitely be less echoey. So apologies if you're listening in headphones and it sounds hideous, but not a lot I can do about it at the minute. So have a good session, everybody. I'll be trading New York. I'm not going to muck about in Globex. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning 7:50, and hopefully have a good day. Speak to you then.